Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. As today we got another episode of reviewing NHL teams offseason so far. As today we're going to be taking a look at the Carolina Hurricanes offseason, and honestly this is probably one of the best off seasons that we're going to be looking at, where they massively improved the team. Well, yeah, they lost some guys, but they picked up assets for basically for nothing. And there was a good draft, just tons of stuff to talk about here with the Hurricanes. But before we get into that, I'd like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. It'll be very much appreciated there, boys. So let's get into this bad boy here with the Hurricanes, and I am really impressed with how well the Hurricanes did this past offseason. I think they massively improved the team in, some areas where they lost some players with D'Angelo. They replaced it with Brent Burns, which I think is an alright pickup. He was not the greatest this past season, but honestly, you didn't really have to pay up that much to get the guy. And same with Pacioretty. You got him for basically for free. So we're going to be getting into all those great moves. The very first thing I want to talk about, though, is the draft here for the Carolina Hurricanes. And I thought they did a really good job with their draft for the amount of picks that they really did not have. Gleb Truzov, a guy that was supposed to be kind of up near the higher up in the second round, maybe even late first. But since he's a Russian, usually these guys fall back. Great offense, really offensively talented. It could be a guy that plays up in the middle six, maybe even a top six type of talent here for the Carolina Hurricanes. And then right after that, Alexander Pravallov, another guy that's great offensively, might be, a little bit less than Gleb, but still a great prospect, great offensive ability. I heard he has a great shot as well, threw up 50 points in the MHL, and did great in this past Hlinka Gretzky Cup as well with 5 points in 5 games. So another great selection. Simon Forsmark, I meant, great two-way defenseman. Could be like a third pairing defenseman, but has that talent where he could even be better than that. Cruz Lucious, another great offensive piece, and Vladimir Grudinin, which is kind of being talked about as like the steal of the draft. And it could possibly be really good defenseman, shows some upside, still needs to mature a little bit. He's a very small guy, only 5'10" and 158 pounds, but this guy could be a very lethal defenseman, I think, for the future. And I'm pretty excited to see what he'll be able to do for the future of the Carolina Hurricanes. But already, a really good draft. They weren't able to get any star talent in this draft, which is unfortunate, but that's what you kind of get for having lower picks. And even then, for the lower picks that they did have and not drafted in the first round, they did absolutely fantastic. And they were still able to pick up picks during that draft as well, as they made a trade, trading away Anthony D'Angelo, picking up a fourth, a third, and a second, which I gotta say, what a steal of a trade this was. Anthony D'Angelo is not a bad offensive defenseman, but doesn't play great offensively. This is a guy that was probably going to be asking for a decent amount of money, and instead of, paying him that amount of money, you go and pick up Brent Burns instead, while still retaining assets. That third round pick, they basically dumped off to the San Jose Sharks to get Brent Burns at a decent retained rate. And honestly, I see this Anthony D'Angelo deal as a big W. You didn't have to pay Anthony D'Angelo that $5 million for only 2 years, right? You don't have to worry about that. You get him at a decent deal, and you get a pretty good defenseman in Brent Burns, who I would have to say is better defensively than Anthony D'Angelo. Sure, he might not be as great offensively as D'Angelo, but you're still picking up, I think, as a better overall defenseman. And I think Brent Burns will take a step up this year again. He wasn't the greatest for his expected goals for. That's been kind of going downhill a little bit. But honestly, I think Brent Burns will still do very good here with the Carolina Hurricanes, especially in the system with Rod Brind'Amour. I think you'll see a little bit of a jump up for Brent Burns, but who really knows? With him getting a little older, you might see that decline of his game. So this kind of is a risky trade. But even then, you're getting a very good player in Brent Burns, who once again has performed greatly in the playoffs before. 62 points in 94 games. I mean, he did great in that playoff run where they went to the Stanley Cup Finals and where they went to the Conference Finals. He's been a big pivotal piece for the San Jose Sharks when they went to the playoffs. So I think he'll be a big piece for this upcoming season here for the Carolina Hurricanes. And if he's playing alongside Jacob Slavin, that will be a really good defensive pairing, and it's not a bad idea for the Carolina Hurricanes. And you didn't have to worry about negotiating a deal with Anthony D'Angelo. You got assets in the deal, picking up, Anthony D'Angelo, or trading D'Angelo away. and you were able to really kind of save on assets picking up Brent Burns. So really smart moves. And then they got Patch Ready and Dylan Coughlin for absolutely for nothing. So that's like an A++ when you're able to get like a 40 goal scorer in Pacioretty, who, you know, is on his last year of his contract. So if you really don't want to keep him, you don't need to. I mean, he's been close to 40 goals, but if he played full year, he would have been hitting 40 goals. But this is a guy that's been really good in the playoffs as well over the past few years. I think this is going to be a big guy for the Carolina Hurricanes. They just have to hope that Pacioretty can stay healthy through a full year. The past 2 years, he's only played half of the year, and that's a big thing here for the Carolina Hurricanes. If he can stay healthy, he could be a really, really good pivotal part for the Carolina Hurricanes, and absolutely love the deal. When you get the guy for free, there's no room to complain about that. And Dylan Coughlin was also not a bad move either. Good defenseman, good depth guy. Played a decent amount of games for Vegas Golden Knights. Was all right, definitely not fantastic. But when you pick up the guy for free, I mean, you can't go wrong with it, am I right? And then we'll head into the signings, which they didn't really do a whole lot for signings. Very first of all, they got Kotkaniemi signed up to an 8-year deal at 4.8, which could potentially be a steal. Jesperi Kotkaniemi hasn't showed the numbers to where he's going to produce massively just yet, but I think maybe once he gets that motor going, I think with Kotkaniemi, it'll take him a bit. But with a lot of people, they seem pretty hyped up about him, and I think Don Wendell believes that this guy can potentially pop off this upcoming season. So, and if he really does become that huge second-line centerman that they really need him to beat, because that's where he's going to be positioned this year. He's going to be playing big-time ice time instead of just that 12 minutes. He's most likely going to be getting a lot of big-time minutes this upcoming season. And if he's able to produce big time alongside Svechnikov or Teravainen or Pacioretty or whoever he's going to be playing alongside of, if he's able to produce, you know, a good 50, 60 points, maybe even more than that, this could be a massive, massive pickup here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Not a pickup, but, well, they did pick him up for from the Montreal Canadiens, but this could be a really good signing for them. Honestly, could really be a steal. And then otherwise, Ondrej Kasha, I really like this depth signing as well. 1 year at 1.5, not a bad idea. You get a really good depth forward out of Ondrej Kasha, who's, you know, showed some upside. You know, he's had some injury problems over the last few years, though. That's the biggest thing out of Kasha is he hasn't been able to stay healthy, but he had a good shooting percentage this past season, was able to finish a lot of his opportunities. So I think this is, you know, a nice depth piece to add to the team. Plus, he's pretty good defensively as well. And then otherwise, they signed Ethan Barrett back to a 1 year, $2.2 million deal, which I really like. I think Ethan Barrett's a really good two-way defender. Had a kind of a down season this year, but when he was playing high minutes with the Edmonton Oilers, he looked really good and played really well as a two-way guy. So I think maybe this upcoming season, he'll have a bounce-back season here for the Carolina Hurricanes, and I think that's what they're hoping from him as well. But taking a look at the Carolina Hurricanes, this is a really, really exciting team. I mean, they lost a lot in Vincent Trocheck, who signed a 7-year deal with $5.6 million to the Rangers. Also losing Neo Niederreiter, which I think is a huge loss as well. But you were able to replace him with, you know, the pickup of Max Pacioretty, who's going to be a big offensive piece now, right? And then you also were able to place DeAngelo with Brent Burns. I think, you know, those two big pickups were massive, and now you're going to be relying big time on Kotkaniemi's development and making him that big guy into this upcoming season, which I think he could possibly take that step up. So, great moves here by the Carolina Hurricanes, and this could potentially be a Stanley Cup contender without a doubt. When you look at their defense core, you see a really solid defensive core, especially if Burns has a really good season this upcoming season. He could play really good alongside Jacob Slavin, and you could still, you know, see Brent Burns take, you know, maybe a step up even more. And then, you know, you add Pacioretty into this core, whether he's going to play alongside Sebastian Aho or he's going to play on that second line. Pacioretty is going to be a massive pickup for the team this upcoming season. And then, you know, depending on the Jack Drury development and Martin Necas when he signs back onto the team, you have a really, really deep squad here for the Carolina Hurricanes this season. And I was a really big fan. And honestly, I'm giving this team an A+. The reason why for that is you had a pretty good draft. The players that you lost, you were able to practically retain back. You know, the only guy that you weren't able to replace was, you know, Vincent Trocheck, but you basically got that with Kotkaniemi, hopefully. You were able to pick up Pacioretty and Coughlin for free, and that fills up your defensive depth a little bit. Plus, you get a great goal scorer, and you were able to get Brent Burns at a really good cost, and able to trade away DeAngelo, and pick up a ton of assets in the deal that you were able to flip towards Brent Burns. That is absolutely great asset management, and that's just exactly the way that you want to manage an offseason is great asset management, and that's what Don Wendell did here for the Carolina Hurricanes. And also, This team is looking really deadly. I'm excited to see what they'll be able to do. Now, the biggest question is Frederick Anderson and Antti Ranta. Will they be able to stay healthy this year, and will they be able to be the big goaltenders that the Carolina Hurricanes need on the beat? That will be the biggest question coming into this upcoming season. Hey guys, don't click off the video just yet. We're not just done with the video just yet. We got to talk about a few more things, a few more updates for the Carolina Hurricanes. First of all, Max Pacioretty out for the next 6 months as he had to go deal with a surgery, which I still see as a W, even though, yeah, he's going to be out for majority of the season, which is a big bummer. But with the depth of how good the Carolina Hurricanes are, I don't think it's that big of a hindrance to the team. The team is still going to be a playoff team, and you're going to get Patch ready for the long stretch at the tail end of the season and him be fully healthy and ready to go. I think that'll be really nice addition in the roster. And then Martin Necas signed a 2-year deal worth $6 million at $3 million AAV, which I also like the contract. Not a bad one. Martin Necas has been very poor 5-on-5 wise, but it's been pretty good on the special teams, especially with the PK, and he's been really good at finishing his opportunities and been an amazing passer as well. So I think you're going to continue to see him develop and look really good for the Carolina Hurricanes, and quite honestly, I like the contract that they gave him. I'm still going to keep it at an A+, just because of the fact that the Carolina Hurricanes still had a fantastic offseason, even though they are going to be missing on Max Pacioretty, but you could throw him on the LTIR, and that makes more space for the Carolina Hurricanes, because right now they are negative $1 million. With Pacioretty going on the LTIR, that saves some money for the Carolina Hurricanes as well, so they can maybe even go and pick up some more assets. Just gives them some more flexibility coming into this upcoming season. So for right now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Tell me, guys, in the comment section below what you guys thought of the Carolina Hurricanes offseason this year, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.